all these millennials who don't have kids, it is going to be brutal for them when they're, sitting there in their 70s and there's no one to take care of them. Who's going to take care of them? A robot? The government's going to hire someone to do it? Maybe.
I used to call this the Crazy Aunt Margaret phenomenon. Okay. The Crazy Aunt Margaret phenomenon is going to be the end of feminism. And it's going to happen in about 10 to 15 years when all these women in their 20s and 30s who have heard the you go girl, get your career, forget about your man, all this stuff. But when they get to be 45 and 50 and they're sitting around and they're like, wait, what did I do? Why did I do that? We're going to have a nation of Crazy Aunt Margarets. And then the women behind them will observe and be like, yo, I ain't going to be like Crazy Aunt Margaret.
And you know what the guys are going to do at 45 and 50? They're going to be riding around in their red convertible with their high-paying job and tons of disposable income. And they're going to be like, hey, young 30-year-old woman, want to cruise up to that infinity pool at the, the penthouse suite? I got all the money. And he makes it rain. And then the younger women are going to be like, this is going to be great. But like you mentioned, they're going to see the Crazy Aunt Margarets. Then they're going to see these more powerful, high-status, successful men. And a lot of women are going to be like, this 50-year-old guy. I mean, you look at movie stars. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, for instance. He's always dating these young women. Why would Leo date a 50-year-old woman? He's going to date these young women. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's what they do.
The burgeoning crypto class of men. Come on, let's face it. It's mostly men who dabbled in crypto in 2011 and 12, maybe bought 1,000 of them at $80, whatever. Those are the guys that are going to be running harems in 15 years. Because eventually, all the women between the ages of 18 and 50 are going to be competing for like the same group of men. It's disaster is coming in this perspective. Disaster.
I used to hear these numbers like overpopulation. I mean, I was brainwashed with that growing up. I thought for sure we're overpopulated. There's no rush to have 4 kids anymore.
It was in the same article, the same Time magazine that had the Great Freeze, the new Ice Age articles in it. Yeah.
But now I'm thinking if you have a kid that you can teach, that might be the kid that solves the problem and can reorganize Earth to host 80 billion people easily.
Did your parents think that you would be having these conversations on a show about like computer code and the Federal Reserve? If they didn't have a kid who was Ian Crossland, the conversation wouldn't happen on the show.
That's a good point. If you raise your kids right, they can be the savior. It's not incentive to have. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is an incentive to have a kid.
Sometimes your kids turn out to be, crackheads. That's not always
possible.
So.
Sometimes crackheads are cool.
I'm trying to think back to that statement that this guy made in an article, which is very disturbing. What was it? We were too successful.
Mm-hmm.
We did it like the efforts that we
we went too far.
We went too far in disincentivizing fertility. That's a terrifying statement.
Like a
actually,
super villain.
What did they do? What are the different things that they do? Like feminism, abortion, the desocialization of the family, the deconstruction of the family unit, Black Lives Matter, deconstructing the family union or family unit, etc.
You know, it's really funny. There was a poll.
No fault divorce.
There was a poll that was posted by Matthew Iglesias. We brought up, I think, last week.
I was going to mention him actually in this.
What he says this. He's like, I'm going to break the entire discourse, and it was married men. Working married men and their opinion on who should, what 2 parents versus 1 parent versus childcare. And what it found was that everybody has a bias for exactly what they're doing. So that means if a woman is working, she thinks women should be working and childcare should take care of the kid.
Of course.
If the man is working and he's married and the wife is watching the kids, the man thinks the husband should work. The wife thinks the mother should raise the kids. And that's why they chose to do it. Right?
Duh.
So this is what's really interesting, because whenever I have these conversations, I've seen a lot. I've not heard from women who are mothers about, writing articles about why women shouldn't be in the workplace or why they would be happier with kids. And the reason is they're not. So it's an interesting predicament. For the women who like being stay-at-home mothers, they don't have the career status and power to write these articles unless someone opens the door for them. Whereas the prominent journalist class or activist feminist class, they're the ones writing for all these blogs. So the only thing you're going to hear is their perspective.
Jessica Valenti.
Yes. Right. That she was the lady
worst.
who wrote that article where she was like, catcalling is offensive. And then a year later, she's like, I'm sad no one catcalls me.
Uh-huh.
So
how it started, how's it going?
Right. Here's the funny thing. This is the one subject that really triggers people. I love mentioning this because invariably they're going to like clip this and make videos about it. And they're going to say incel and all that other dumb stuff. I don't care, dude. I'm successful. I'm having a good time. And we got to talk about this. The question is, according to Gallup, So it was like, would you think women should be working or whatever? And 56% of women said they would rather have a career than be a stay-at-home mom. But that means 44% of women told Gallup, despite everything you might hear in the press, they would rather be stay-at-home moms. That's close to 50-50. And I think those women who have careers and all that, I'm stoked. More power to you. That's awesome. I'm glad you found happiness. But that also means there's a lot of women who don't want to do that. And those are the ones I think aren't being represented properly in the media because they're not working. You know what I mean? They're not in these careers, in these jobs.
They shouldn't pull women. They should pull their children. What do you think? Would you rather your mom be at work all day or at home taking care of you?
Would you rather your dad be at home, playing ball and going to the park with the dog or at work? Right?
If you had to choose, one of your parents has to go to work.
Gotta be dad.
Oh, my mom.
Why do you think the kid's gonna say
they're gonna pick mom?
Why do you think so?
Because mom caretakes. Mom takes care. Mom makes the peanut butter.
I
wanted my mom out of the house because she was the slave driver.
When you were 7?
Yeah, she was the mean one.
Well,
she was
listen,
the lawyer, and my dad was the fun.
Yeah.
Well, she's a lawyer.
No, she was like the lawyer of the house.
I think what you're missing is that if mom is the caretaker, then the kid is used to mom being there and he's feeling bad. He doesn't see dad enough. So when asked, he'll say, I want to see dad more. Get it? He sees mom all the time. And you may be right about the mom taking care of the kid, but it's also more proximity mom means more stern attitude from mom as well, right?
Look, kids, we're going to take one of your parents away. Which one do you want it to be?
You're right, because my mom was stern, but probably only because she was around all the time.
She had to be. We're going to go back in time. We're going to pull up this next article.
Oh, I love
because
this article.
I'm willing to trigger the internet once again. So this is a story I covered from the New York Post. Women are struggling to find men who make as much money as they do.
Yep.
And I gave a very simple hypothesis. And people did not like it because it was an offensive hypothesis. I don't care. The hypothesis goes as such. If there is a 30-year-old woman who's working a job and she makes $75K a year, and there is a 30-year-old man who works a similar job and makes $75K a year, the woman looks at the guy and says, that's my peer, that's who I want to be with, or someone who makes more money. But that guy who's 30, making $75K a year, is not looking at a 30-year-old woman. He's looking at a 22-year-old woman. OkCupid data showed us this, that no matter what age the guy was, he would message 22-year-old women. Yeah,
guilty as charged.
And I got to admit,
of course. Hello, except for me, the number is 24.
My age range is like 21 to 45.
I'm not a fan. That's not for me.
Of 24-year-old girls?
I'm not. I mean, the idea of I guess hooking up with a 22-year-old, sure, I get. But when I'm talking about a legitimate relationship where you actually want to have a life companion, have a family, I think it's absurd to be a 35-year-old man reaching out to 22-year-olds.
Yeah, she'd have to be really evolved.
Yeah.
That's
why I said 22. No, 24.
But even 24,
26 is
I've had 3 significant relationships in my life, and each one of them began with a girl who was 24. Huh. When I was 24, when I was 30, when I was 40.
Let me read this. Okay, the New York Post writes, the country is facing a crisis of broke dudes. According to new research from Cornell University, and it's left successful ladies single and disgruntled. I wonder if they misunderstood the data. When they ask women, are you finding men your age who have money? I think the issue is it's not so much that the dudes are broke, but that even if a guy is 30 and he's making $25K less than the woman, he's not going to choose a woman who's 30.
No, the problem is the women are making too much money. Okay?
How's that a problem?
Because it's ruined evolution. It's ruined everything that is built into a woman's brain. A woman wants to marry a guy who's lateral or above. And if a woman makes so much money, it reduces her pool of available men. The fault of there not being enough men is the fact that women make too much money.
Yep.
Boom, done. End of story.
So you think so you're saying
this is they're getting what they've asked for.
I think
live in that.
Yeah.
I think,
by the way, I'm got a young girl at home myself. So boom.
Get rich.
I don't know if I agree with it.
Yeah.
I agree that
no, it changes. It's all about a dynamic. If the girls were making $35,000 a year and that same guy was still making $70,000 a year, she'd be like, there's just eligible men all over the place. But now she's making the same as the guy and she's like, I don't want him.
But I don't think that's absolute. I think if there was a guy making $50K a year and a woman was making $150, he'd be like, this is great. Like, we're going to have tons of money.
Actually, Pew has done a number of studies on this very thing, and women say that they want to date a man and marry a man that makes more money than them.
But everybody wants to marry up.
No,
in some fashion.
I don't want to marry up.
Okay,
why would I want to marry a woman that makes more money and works harder than
not,
I do and spends more time out
I
of
didn't
the
say
house?
that. I didn't say that. I said marry up.
How are we calculating up?
Do you want to marry
Good
like a
point.
woman who sleeps in the gutter?
So it doesn't have to be money.
It's like
if she had a heart of gold and was willing to take care of my house and was kind of hot and good with kids, I don't care what she does as long as she's going to stop doing that and she's going to start taking care of the family.
Wow.
True story.
May I interject?
True story.
This is a
Yes,
societal
please.
difference. Yes.
No, actually, this is evolution. This is me as a man speaking to women as women. This is not crazy things. Go ahead.
I think that Jack is correct. I believe that this
The
is what is
lady
known
says.
as hypergamy.
Hypergamy.
So I have read that men become more depressed when their spouses make more money than they do.
Of course they do,
This
because
is
men
not a
thrive
case-
on status.
This is not a case of just having a bunch of money. This is very much about who earns the money. And for guys, it is very important to make more money than their spouse. And I'm not going to say that's materialistic. I'm just going to say that's the way that it is. And this is the data that I've read. This depresses men to make less than their spouses. This increases the
Yes.
risk of divorce.
Yes.
Like, it's actually a problem for guys.
Look, men are hardwired to build, create, provide,
Right.
and protect. And if you take away the things that we do, then people are going to feel terrible.
Right.
This I'm glad you brought this up, because dude, I've been writing and thinking about these issues for 10 years, man. And I just spent 2 hours on Benjamin Boyce's channel ranting about this stuff in my most lucid state, as a matter of fact. Please check it out. I was on a roll talking about this.